Hello, lovely gardeners, and welcome back to Time for Gardening. If you've been dreaming of a private backyard sanctuary, but the price of lumber or professional fencing is making your eyes water, you are in exactly the right place today. We all want that cozy enclosed cottage garden feel. A place where we can sip our tea without feeling like we're on display for the whole neighborhood. But who says privacy has to cost a fortune? Today, I'm sharing 30 incredible budget-friendly ways to transform humble, discarded shipping pallets into the most charming fencing you've ever seen. We are talking about everything from romantic, whitewashed walls dripping with roses to clever vertical gardens that grow your dinner while blocking the view. So, grab your gardening gloves and a warm cup of coffee, and make sure you stick around until the very end, because the final few ideas are some of my absolute favorites for adding that artistic secret garden touch. Let's get started. To achieve this look, we aren't aiming for perfection. We want the weathered, timeless feel of a ruined castle wall found in the English countryside. By staggering your palette sections at varying heights and applying a heavy, distressed whitewash, you instantly soften the harsh lines of the lumber, creating a structure that feels like it has stood for a century rather than a weekend. This pale, textured backdrop is the absolute perfect canvas for vibrant color, specifically pink climbing roses or climbing hydrangeas. As the blooms spill over the uneven tops and settle into the nooks of the whitewashed wood, the fence ceases to be a barrier and transforms into a living tapestry, blending seamless privacy with effortless, romantic charm. If a solid wall feels too imposing for your space, try adding a touch of playfulness by cutting simple shapes, like hearts or diamonds, into the upper slats of your pallet wood. This technique breaks up the visual weight of the fence, allowing dappled sunlight to dance through the openings and create shifting patterns on your garden floor throughout the afternoon. These whimsical windows do more than just let in light. They offer a charming glimpse of the greenery behind without sacrificing your sense of seclusion. Imagine a tall stand of foxgloves or hollyhocks swaying gently on the other side, their colors flashing through the cutouts, turning your fence into an interactive feature that feels open and airy while keeping prying eyes at bay. For those who love the juxtaposition of rough textures and delicate details, stenciling is a brilliant way to elevate humble pallet wood. By painting oversized, lace doily patterns in crisp white directly onto the natural graying timber, you introduce a layer of feminine elegance that softens the rustic, industrial nature of the material. This design choice works beautifully in a shabby chic setting, mimicking the look of vintage textiles draped over the garden boundary. It turns a standard fence into an art piece, where the rugged wood grain acts as a backdrop for the intricate floral designs, proving that even salvaged lumber can possess a delicate, heirloom quality. Every cottage garden deserves a touch of mystery, and transforming a section of your pallet fence into a functional gate adds immediate storybook appeal. By hinging one panel and adorning it with a vintage crystal doorknob and a dried lavender wreath, you create an invitation to explore, suggesting that a magical world lies just beyond the threshold. This secret door doesn't even need to lead anywhere expansive. It could simply open to a compost area or a utility nook, but the aesthetic promise is what matters. It frames the entrance to your sanctuary with intention and care, making the act of stepping into your garden feel like entering a private, enchanted realm away from the noise of the world. Borrowing from the classic American white picket fence, this design involves cutting the tops of your pallet slats into rounded, scalloped shapes. However, instead of painting them pristine white, we keep the wood rough-hewn and stain it a warm honey oak, marrying the traditional silhouette with a more rustic, earthy texture that feels grounded and authentic. The repetition of the curved tops creates a soothing rhythm along the garden border, drawing the eye along the perimeter without the sharpness of dog-eared posts. It's a softer, friendlier approach to fencing that looks particularly stunning when framed by low-growing perennials like lavender or catmint, which hug the base and complement the warm wood tones. Gardens take on a completely different personality after dark, and this fencing idea is designed to capture that evening magic. By installing your pallets with slightly wider gaps or utilizing the existing space between slats, you can weave warm white copper wire fairy lights through the structure, embedding the illumination directly into the walls of your garden. As the sun sets, the wood fades into the background, leaving behind a floating constellation of soft lights that enclose your space in a warm, amber glow. It eliminates the need for harsh floodlights, creating an intimate, cozy atmosphere perfect for evening tea or a glass of wine, turning your privacy screen into a source of comfort and ambience. For a garden that feels cheerful and spirited, treat each slat of your pallet fence as an individual canvas. By painting them in alternating soft pastels, think sage green, dusty rose, and buttercream yellow, you create a patchwork quilt effect that wraps your garden in color, even in the depths of winter when nothing is in bloom. This approach is incredibly forgiving and perfect for using up leftover sample pots of paint, resulting in a look that is eclectic yet cohesive. The soft colors harmonize beautifully with nature, echoing the hues of your flower beds rather than competing with them, making your fence feel like a joyful extension of the garden itself. Sometimes all a budget project needs is one high-end detail to elevate the entire look. By sourcing upcycled wooden finials, perhaps from old staircases or bedposts, and attaching them to the posts between your pallet sections, you add a vertical element of architectural interest that draws the eye upward and breaks the monotony of a flat fence line. These decorative toppers lend a sense of history and permanence, giving your DIY fence the silhouette of a grand Victorian estate wall. Whether left natural or painted to match the pallets, these finials act as the jewelry of the structure, adding a touch of sophistication that belies the humble origins of the fencing material. Small gardens can feel confined by a privacy fence, but this optical illusion changes the game completely. By mounting vintage mirrors with peeling, weathered frames directly onto your pallet walls, you punch holes in the boundary, reflecting the greenery and sky to trick the eye into thinking the garden extends far beyond its actual limits. The reflection captures the movement of leaves and the shifting clouds, adding a dynamic, living element to an otherwise static wooden wall. Over time, as vines creep around the edges of the frames, the mirrors seem to grow out of the fence itself, creating a mystical, Alice in Wonderland vibe that makes your sanctuary feel infinite. Inject a dose of personality and nostalgia into your fence by turning it into a display for your treasured finds. By screwing small cup hooks into the slats, you can hang a collection of mismatched vintage teacups, each drilled for drainage and planted with tiny succulents, trailing violas, or creeping thyme. This creates a vertical gallery of color and pattern, transforming a plain wooden barrier into a conversation piece filled with charm. It's a delightful way to repurpose chipped china that you can't bear to throw away, giving it a new life where the delicate floral patterns of the cups are mirrored by the living flowers growing inside them. This idea is a masterclass in efficiency for the gardener who wants to maximize every square inch. By installing the pallets backward with the thick structural beams facing out, you create natural horizontal troughs that can be lined with landscape fabric and filled with soil, instantly creating a vertical tier of planter boxes. Fill these pockets with cascading strawberries, spicy nasturtiums, or a kitchen herb garden featuring basil, parsley, and thyme. Not only does this soften the look of the wood with cascading greenery, but it also turns your boundary line into a productive living pantry, placing fresh ingredients right at your fingertips while filtering the air and providing privacy. Transform your fence into a bustling neighborhood for local wildlife by topping the privacy screen with a row of charming mismatched birdhouses. Painting them in bright, cheerful colors draws the eye upward, distracting from the rustic nature of the pallet wood below, and creating a whimsical skyline that delights visitors of all ages. Beyond the aesthetic appeal, this design invites chickadees, wrens, and bluebirds to take up residence, bringing movement and song to your garden sanctuary. It's a beautiful way to give back to nature, turning a structure meant to keep people out into a welcoming haven for the feathered friends that help keep your garden pest-free. Every gardener needs a workspace, and integrating it into your fencing is a brilliant space-saving solution. Use a sturdy section of your pallet fence as the structural backsplash for a rustic potting bench, installing hooks to hang your hand trowels, shears, and balls of twine right where you need them. This creates a dedicated zone that feels deliberate and organized, rather than cluttered. The weather-worn wood of the pallets pairs perfectly with terracotta pots and soil bags, creating a vignette that is as beautiful as it is functional, a place where the work of gardening is celebrated as part of the landscape's charm. Give your garden fence the architectural feel of a cottage exterior by mounting old wooden window frames directly onto the pallets. Beneath each frame, attach a window box overflowing with bright red geraniums or trailing ivy to simulate the look of a cozy home looking out onto the garden. This trompe-l'oeil effect breaks up the long, monotonous stretch of fencing, creating rooms and focal points along the perimeter. It feels inviting and domestic, blurring the lines between indoors and outdoors, and making your garden feel like an extension of your living room wall. If you love vertical gardening, you can modify your pallets to act specifically as a heavy-duty trellis. By stripping away every other slat, you create a ladder-like structure that is perfect for gripping vines like clematis, sweet peas, or morning glories, allowing them to weave in and out of the wood with ease. Over a single season, the wooden structure will disappear beneath a wall of lush green foliage and vibrant blooms, creating a living fence that offers superior privacy and sound dampening. It's the ultimate partnership between construction and nature, where the wood provides the strength and the plants provide the beauty. For the vegetable gardener, functionality is key, and a pallet fence can double as an excellent storage solution. In the corners of your veggie patch, use the horizontal struts of the pallets to create racks for long-handled tools like hoes, rakes, and shovels, keeping them off the ground and organized. This keeps your essential tools within arm's reach while adding a rustic, working farm aesthetic to the space. It transforms the clutter of the shed into a tidy display of well-loved equipment, proving that practical storage doesn't have to be hidden away. It can be part of the garden's visual story. For a splash of farmhouse color that pops against the wood, hang rows of galvanized metal buckets from sturdy nails or hooks along your fence. Planted with bright, trailing annuals like petunias or calibrachoa, these buckets create a cascading wall of color that draws the eye and cheers up even the dullest corner of the yard. The metal adds a nice textural contrast to the wood, and the modular nature of the buckets means you can easily swap them out or move them around as the seasons change. It's a flexible, low-cost way to add density to your planting scheme without digging new beds, lifting the color up to eye level. Composting is the heart of a healthy garden, but the pile itself isn't always pretty to look at. A U-shaped configuration of pallet fencing creates the perfect breathable screen to hide your compost heap, keeping the messy business of decomposition out of sight while allowing necessary airflow to the pile. To make the screen work double duty, plant heavy feeders like pumpkins or squash at the base of the pallets on the outside. The vines will happily climb the structure, benefiting from the nutrient-rich soil leaching from the compost, eventually covering the utility area with lush, giant leaves and hanging gourd. A tangled green garden hose can ruin the look of a perfectly curated cottage garden. So why not build a solution right into the fence? You can modify a pallet section to include a simple cupboard or a deep reel holder, creating a station where the hose can be coiled away neatly behind a small rustic door when not in use. This keeps your pathways clear and safe while maintaining the visual integrity of your vintage aesthetic. It's a small detail that makes a huge impact on the overall tidiness of the space, ensuring that modern conveniences don't clash with your old-world garden charm. Lighting doesn't have to be expensive to be effective. Simple mason jars hanging from rustic hooks can transform your fence into a glowing perimeter. Fill the jars with solar-powered tea lights or strings of fairy lights to create a firefly effect that charges during the day and automatically illuminates at dusk. The glass jars protect the lights from the elements while amplifying the glow, casting a warm, inviting shimmer against the wood. It's a budget-friendly solution that feels incredibly cozy, lining your garden boundaries with beacons of light that make the space feel safe and magical after the sun goes down. If you are willing to put in a little extra labor for a high-end look, dismantling the pallets and renailing the slats in a chevron or herringbone pattern is a game-changer. The 45-degree angles create a sense of movement and energy that standard vertical or horizontal fences lack, mimicking the look of expensive custom carpentry. This geometric pattern catches the light differently throughout the day, highlighting the texture of the wood grain in a sophisticated way. It elevates the humble pallet material into a modern art installation, proving that with a bit of creativity, free wood can look just as luxurious as a store-bought cedar fence. Embrace the ancient Japanese art of wood preservation by lightly torching your pallet slats before installation. This technique, known as Sugi ban, not only weatherproofs the wood and deters insects but also creates a stunning, dark charcoal finish that brings out the intricate patterns of the grain in high relief. The deep, moody black-brown tones of the chard would provide the ultimate high-contrast backdrop for green foliage and white flowers, like Annabelle hydrangeas. It creates a modern, dramatic look that feels intentional and bold, turning your recycled fence into a striking architectural statement. Turn the imperfections of recycled wood into its greatest asset by filling the knot holes and natural cracks with color. Using strong outdoor adhesive, you can inlay shards of broken china, colorful glass beads, or mosaic tiles directly into the wood, creating unexpected sparkles of light and color embedded in the fence. This technique adds a treasure hunt element to your garden, where visitors discover new details the closer they look. It's a beautiful metaphor for the gardening life, finding beauty in the broken and the old. And it adds a deeply personal, artistic touch that makes your fence truly one of a kind. Your garden is a reflection of your story, so why not write it on the walls? Use stencils to paint inspirational quotes, scripture, or meaningful phrases like Grandma's Garden or Grow in Grace directly onto the horizontal support beams of the pallets. This typography adds a layer of graphic interest and creates a focal point that speaks to the heart. It transforms the fence from a simple barrier into a message board of positivity, reminding you of your why every time you step out to weed or water, and giving the space a clear, welcoming identity. For a fence that looks like it belongs in a medieval fairy tale or a historical English estate, combine your pallet posts with the ancient art of wattle weaving. By weaving thin, flexible branches or willow switches through the vertical gaps of the pallet structure, you create a dense, textured barrier that completely blocks visibility. This mix of carpentry and basketry results in a fence that feels incredibly organic, as if it grew out of the ground rather than being built. It's an excellent way to use up tree prunings from your own yard, creating a sustainable closed-loop system that looks rustically beautiful and provides a perfect windbreak for delicate plants. add an industrial cottage edge to your garden by alternating sections of wooden pallets with panels of corrugated rusty metal. The warm orange tones of the oxidized iron complement the graying wood perfectly, creating a rich, earthy color palette that feels rugged and enduring. The metal panels offer complete privacy and reflect heat, which can create a warm microclimate for heat-loving plants planted nearby. It's a bold aesthetic choice that bridges the gap between a working farm look and a curated garden design, adding texture and variety to a long fence line. If you dream of the coast, you can bring the beach to your backyard by heavily sanding your pallets and treating them with a gray wash or a bleaching oil. This strips away the yellow pine tones and mimics the soft, silver-gray look of driftwood that has been tumbled by the ocean for years. Paired with ornamental grasses and airy flowers like cosmos or verbena, this fencing style creates a relaxed, breezy atmosphere. It reflects the light beautifully, making the garden feel brighter and more open, and provides a neutral, calming backdrop that lets your colorful blooms take center stage. For maximum privacy and a robust, secure feel, stack your pallet slats vertically and tightly against each other, eliminating any gaps. This construction method mimics the look of a log cabin wall or a stockade fence, creating a solid barrier that blocks wind, noise, and prying eyes completely. This style is particularly effective for creating cozy, enclosed seating areas or outdoor rooms where you want to feel completely tucked away. The massive wood provides a sense of safety and enclosure, making it the perfect backdrop for a fire pit area or a secluded hot tub nook. Vintage shutters are a natural companion to pallet wood, sharing that same history and charm. By attaching old, painted shutters to the sides of your pallet panels or using them to bridge the gaps between sections, you add instant architectural character and a splash of peeling vintage color. The horizontal louvers of the shutters contrast nicely with the vertical or horizontal lines of the pallets, adding visual complexity. It creates the illusion that your garden is surrounded by the walls of an old cottage, enhancing that cozy, lived-in feeling that is central to the cottage garden aesthetic. Finally, celebrate the artistry of nature by treating your view like a masterpiece. Mount a large, empty, ornate picture frame, perhaps painted gold or a bright accent color, directly onto the fence to frame a specific plant, like a climbing rose bush or a particularly beautiful fern. This simple addition changes how you look at your garden, isolating a single moment of beauty and highlighting it for appreciation. It's a playful, surrealist touch that adds wit and whimsy to the space, turning a blank section of fencing into a gallery wall where the art is always changing with the seasons. I hope you found some inspiration in these 30 upcycled palette ideas. It just goes to show that you don't need a massive budget to create a garden that feels safe, secluded, and utterly magical. Whether you choose the rustic Whitewashed Wonder or decide to turn your fence into a vertical birdhouse village, the most important thing is that you are creating a space that brings you joy using materials that might otherwise end up in a landfill. I would love to hear from you. Which number was your favorite? Are you team rustic or team romantic? Please leave a comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this video and want more budget-friendly gardening tips and cottage inspiration, please give this video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a moment of our gardening journey. Until next time, happy gardening!